Hey everyone, got a new tinkering project at the moment. I've been looking for a while on flea markets for a really small iron to use for crafting projects and things, rather than getting our normal steam iron out. And last week I bought this lovely old iron from a flea market in Vienna for €4. It's really nice. It's quite heavy. It's got a lovely Bakelite handle that hasn't got any damage to it whatsoever. I don't know if you can see there, but we have a little dial there that switches the voltage from, this is 220 it's set to. We've got 100 and I can't see in the light, what's this one? 110 volts. So that's set to 220 volts at the moment, which is what we have here in Austria. Underneath the base, you can see, I'll put it up the right way. This is made by a company called Elektrokeramik Wien. And I don't know if that's just the maker of the Bakelite handle or the whole brand, but I might try and do some research and find out about that. But when I plugged it in, of course it uses the normal 2-pin plug that we have here in Austria. I've dismantled the plug over here, it's in parts, because at first when I tested the iron, it didn't start, it didn't work. I've just used a multimeter here with the 2 probes on the end, and here you can see there. And what I did was I used the probes to test the cable, because I thought if there's any breaks in the cable, that could be, maybe that needs replacing. So by placing the probes into each of the cables there, I got readings up to about 12 ohms. It was climbing from 11, 12, at one point it was 13 ohms. And again, I haven't done enough research to find out if that level of resistance is okay, but the fact it's reading something gives me the impression that the cable is actually fine. So I'm going to dismantle the iron now, and it's very simple. There's 2 screws there, and I'm just going to undo that and separate and take apart all the pieces and just see if I can work out what the problem is. I might be able to fix it. It could be a problem with the element, loose wiring, but I'm going to take it apart and I'll show you what it looks like in all its pieces once I've done that. So if you're interested in an old Austrian Bügeleisen, as they're called here in Austria, let's see what it looks like inside. Okay, so when you remove the screws, you can see that you remove the little dial with the voltage switch on it. This is what happens. You just pull it gently apart. With this section here, this coiled section to protect the cable, it has this is like a thread, and it literally threads and screws into that part of the handle there. So you just unscrew that and, you know, gently push a bit of cable through to get some slack. And what you can see here is that the 2 wires here are connected to these 2, well, I guess ports or whatever here. And it seems to be wired in okay. This section down here, this black bit, this is the voltage switch, and it seems that when you twist it, this block in the middle turns there. You can see I'm not going to twist it any further because it's set to 220 volts, so I'll leave it as it is. And at the bottom, if you can see there are 3 little cables connected to these little, they're almost like ceramic tubes that must protect the wires from the heat of the iron, and they feed into a plate below here. Some must be the element in there. So I'm going to remove these 2 screws now that hold the handle on and the base, and we'll have a look at underneath and see what's what there. Oh, this little piece looks like a piece of card. Is fitted to the back here, and you can see where the screw would go through. Oops, let's turn it around. Oops, a little bit fiddly. I'm not sure if it is, well, it's some kind of card, but it must be a special property again that protects it. So that goes behind there and protects all the connections in the back of there when it's in the iron. I can imagine that's going to be tricky putting that back later. So I'm going to remove these screws now and see what's underneath this little iron. Oh, also underneath here there's a really nice maker's logo. I think it's upside down, which is a bit awkward. Let's turn this around so you can see the logo. And again, I might do a little bit of research to try and find out. It looks like an H. I don't know if that's an old-fashioned F or an S and a W and a number there. And you can see here, even though it's the wrong way around, Elektrokeramik Wien. Ceramic is the German word for ceramic. So, and the nice thing about it is this product is from Vienna again. So that's why I'd really like to see if I can get it working again. And you see the Bakelite shell underneath is all in pretty good condition. So wires are a little bit frayed around there. I might put some shrink hose on that afterwards. So let's see if we can investigate further. So what you can see here is I've just undone the 2 screws, put them over there, and you've got this section here that holds the handle on. And when you lift this plate, I'll move it back there at the moment, out of the way, you have these 2 little spaces that keeps the plate off the bottom. And this is what's inside this little iron. I've got to be very gentle now because I don't want to break these very fine little, oops. So that's the inside there, relatively clean. But what you do notice is, I notice there's 2 cracks here and a little chunk here. So maybe once this had been dropped and it's chipped a little bit off there, it's possible that there's a break maybe in the wiring. I guess this kind of, I don't know what this is made of, some kind of cast stone or something. And you can see the 3, they look like 3 little legs, articulated legs, but it's 3 very thin wires coming through here, feeding into there, wired into there, and the 2 wires that go up there. Now, I appreciate I didn't need to take that plug apart up there to test the resistance, but I really wanted to go right to the cable. That's why I took it off. And also I took a section off because I wanted to pop to an electrical shop to see if I could find a replacement cable for it if it was necessary. So just in case you thought, oh, you didn't need to take the plug off to check it, that's what I did there. So this seems to be some engraving of numbers on here. So this could be the reason why it doesn't work. There could be a break in there. But I'm going to have a go with the multimeter now and maybe take off these cables and just put the multimeter on these connections here just to see if I get any readings through this plate. So I'll let you know what happens after I do that. So what a shame. I've put everything back together, reassembled it. It looks like it's such a beautiful little domestic appliance here. Look at that. But sadly, despite my best efforts, I haven't been able to make it work. Did test it with multimeter. Wasn't 100% sure what I was looking for. I did test all those connections that you saw earlier. And I did show it to one of my students who has a bit of an engineering background, electrical background, although not with, you know, sort of domestic appliances. And he wasn't 100% sure with the readings I was getting. He tested the cable was fine. And really the only suggestion he had was there a good enough connection with that plastic bar that had those connectors on the back where you switch to the different voltages. And I did bend those slightly to make sure they were in full contact, particularly at this setting. And it hasn't really made any difference. So, but I'm not despondent because, again, I really like these old things. I like to know how they work. I guess it would make an awesome paperweight. But I might still hang on to it. I might get information at a later stage. And I still haven't been able to find any historical information about Elektrokeramik Wien, which was certainly the company that made the whole iron, but certainly the handle part of it, the Bakelite handle. And I laughed when I looked at the early video and we looked inside there and I called that thing stone. I wasn't sure what it was made. And obviously that's the ceramic part, that heavy block in the bottom. And it is possible, maybe that was dropped. I don't see any visual sign of damage on this iron, but it could be that something has failed inside there, one of the filaments or the wires inside it. But yeah, not despondent. I even learned a lot about the inside of these plugs. Never opened one up before, so I think they're called Shuko. Shunko? Shuko? Can't remember what it's called now. Schutz. I can't remember what it's called in Deutsch. However, very, very interesting. And although this one hasn't been able to be my crafting Bügeleisen or iron, I have got this little one, which was given to me as a gift by my partner, found on a flea market for a couple of euros. A little bit scruffy here, needs a bit polishing up a little bit. I'm not going to take this one apart because it actually works. And I love this cute little wicker handle, which I guess, I don't know if it's original. It's hard to say. It certainly serves its purpose. It does actually work. It works 100%. Got the original old wiring, I guess, on it. So I'm quite chuffed. It's a very simple little plug there. And this will be my new crafting iron. Just needs a clean up. So nifty little thing, not much to it. And yeah, pleased that I did still end up with a vintage crafting iron, as I'm going to call it. And alongside its big sister or big brother there. Yeah, pretty neat. So I hope you enjoyed watching that video, and if you have any information on this particular iron or any ideas that you think I could still try to check it, I'd really appreciate it. So any electricians out there watching, maybe you can help me have some ideas on what to investigate further, or maybe I should accept that it's given up the ghost. So thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed that. Cheerio.